Anything's possible. Anything's possible! We did it!
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
After 16 long years, all the ups and downs, all Eastern Conference Finals appearances, deep playoff runs, off-season moves and trades, different head coaches, the Boston Celtics have finally won the NBA championship in 2024. Everyone but Jrue Holiday got their first ring, which is great to see, especially for Al Horford. After beating the Mavs in 5 and winning their second championship in the 21st century, I wanted to make this video from the perspective as a Lakers fan, congratulating the Celtics. Even though they are the Lakers' biggest rival and they just broke the tie to become the franchise with the most titles, I had to give them their props. But before we do that, make sure to like and subscribe. To be clear, before the season, my finals matchup was Lakers vs Celtics in an epic battle for banner 19. Was that bias? Yes, as I really believed in my Lakers after all the offseason moves. But the offseason moves that the Celtics made immediately made me put them in the finals. While others thought that the Bucks could compete with them in the East, I expected them to run through the East regardless of who was healthy. The Celtics team is one of the greatest teams of all time. I predicted them to be the best Celtics team since 08, and that turned out to be true. I think you can argue that they have been the best Celtics team since the 80s and the best team since the KD Steph Warriors. When they added Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis on top of their roster, this was one of the best teams on paper ever assembled. As a Lakers fan, I picked us to win the chip in a biased way, but deep down, objectively, I had picked the Celtics. The Celtics had the third highest net rating by any NBA team ever, tied with the 2017 Warriors. They went 64-18, one of the best regular seasons in Celtics and NBA history. They went through the playoffs only losing 3 games, winning a decent amount of their games by blowout. This is one of the most dominant teams and seasons of all time, and definitely the most dominant since the 2017 Warriors. I was so into the Celtics this season that I picked Peyton Pritchard to be 6th man of the year, even thought their depth heading into the season was underrated. This is also one of the best well-constructed rosters and teams of all time. When looking at how all these stars and players were able to mesh and fit onto the court, that is a testament to the groundwork Danny Ainge laid out and what Brad Stevens built on top of it. They had 5 all-star level players in their starting lineup, great depth, and 4 to 5 guys that could easily score 20 points a game, and one of the best defensive teams of all time, and an all-time defensive backcourt with Jrue Holiday and Derek White. They also had great spacing at all positions at all times, which made them one of the versatile teams of all time. This Celtics team will go down in the history books as one of the most talented teams this league has ever seen, with one of the most dominant seasons of all time. Before we get to talking about the individual legacies, I want to talk about my relationship with the Celtics as a Lakers fan, especially for the past decade. Those Celtics IT teams were some of my favorites to watch due to IT, Jay Crowder, and Jared Sellinger. Mostly because of IT, I got attached to the era of Celtics basketball as they were kind of rebuilding, kind of not, during the mid-2010s. IT is one of my favorite players of all time, and he made a stamp on the NBA in Boston. Then after Tatum made the ECF in his rookie year, it was easy to root for as an NBA fan. However, as the years went on, I paid less attention to the Celtics as they were always on the outside looking in. They were always getting eliminated in the ECF or the finals, and the Tatum love had fallen off a cliff. But this season, seeing their offseason moves, I was on the Celtics train on them being true title contenders, them being a dominant team from an NBA fan perspective. But after last night, I had to come to terms with the reality. The Lakers were getting past in all-time championships. As a fan of the NBA, it's always fun to see a team win the chip, even though it's your rival. I was most happy for Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis. To end this section, as an NBA fan, it's great to see players that deserve championships finally get them. But as a Lakers fan, we have to catch up. Jason Tatum, at just 26-year-old, wins his first NBA championship in front of his home crowd. This championship, he joins Magic Johnson, LeBron James, and Tim Duncan as just the 4th player in NBA history to lead his team in points, assists, and rebounds in the finals and win. He also has the most playoff points in NBA history before turning 27. When talking about one of the best starts to an NBA career in recent memory, Luka and Giannis have definitely claimed that title, but it's time to acknowledge Jason Tatum. At just 26, he is a 5-time All-Star, a 4-time All-NBA player, and an NBA champion, not to mention the past playoff success he had prior to the championship run. With his title, he is a definitive top 5 player in the world and solidifies himself as the 3rd greatest Celtics of all time. His career trajectory only skyrockets as the Celtics team is built to repeat so he can add on to his legacy. At just 26, with his resume, he could easily push to be a top 15 player in NBA history when he retires. He has that pressure off of his back and is the next great American superstar along with Anthony Edwards for the foreseeable future. Jaylen Brown, after signing a $300 million extension, won Finals MVP. After questions with his fit with Tatum and on the Celtics, he proved it this year by being the 2nd biggest reason why the Celtics won the chip and winning Finals MVP. All the memes and questions about his left hand or his game has been silenced as he showed out on the biggest stage. I personally was okay with JB winning the Finals MVP due to his play of the first 2 games and his defense on Luka throughout the series. He solidifies himself as a top 3 shooting guard in the league and one of the best second options in this league as well. He forms the best duo in the league with Tatum, and after 7 long years, he can finally get his ring. With 3 All-Star appearances and an All-NBA team and a Finals MVP at just 27, his trajectory just goes up as well. He He's on his way to see number 7 up in the rafters in green when he retires, and he will go down as a team legend and a potential all-time great. Jrue Holiday proves to be one of the best star role players of his generation, winning his second NBA chip. He proves to be one of the best defensive guards of his era and of all time as well. His value is shown especially in this finals run. After questions about his contributions to a contender at this stage of his career, he proves them wrong and wins his second chip. Adding a second chip to his resume boosts him into Hall of Fame consideration. With 6 defensive team selections, 2 All-Star selections, 2 Olympic medals, and 2 chips, he definitely has the case right now, but I'm sure he will be able to build on it even further to solidify himself as a Hall of Famer when it's all said and done. After being one of the most underrated stars for the good part of a decade, it's great to see Holiday win 2 NBA championships. Kristaps Porzingis was once labeled the next big star in the NBA. Being the centerpiece in New York with comparisons to Dirk, it looked like he was on track to be an all-time great. But after injuries and some disappointing seasons in Dallas and Washington, most NBA fans forgot about him. However, 9 years into his career, Tingus Pingus finally was able to get his first ring, being one of the biggest reasons why his team made it this far as well. He was a great fit, and although he wasn't healthy for a majority of the playoffs, his value really showed out in Game 1 of the series. He has also become the first player born in Latvia to win a ring, and it's great to see history being made. After being on top of the world in New York for a few years just to be forgotten, it's great to see Kristaps get his first ring. Al Horford, after a long 16-year career, has finally got his first ring. His ability to adapt seamlessly into the modern NBA in his days in Atlanta is underrated. From looking like he was going to be out of the league very soon in OKC, he was a great contributor to a championship-winning team at 37 years old. Stepping up for an injured Porzingis in the playoffs and playing well is only a testament to how good Al Horford is. He has won a championship in college and in the NBA. After battles with LeBron in the 2010s, he's finally able to cap off his career with a very well-deserved ring. He will go down as one of the most underrated players of his era with his longevity, and he has a shot of his jersey getting retired by Boston. Derek White has proved that he's the ultimate role player. After being hidden for years on the Spurs, he has shined with the Celtics as being one of the best defensive guards in the league and being one of the best role players in general. His hustle, tenacity, and versatility to do it all is very commendable as he put his body on the line, literally, for this championship. He is very reminiscent of Marcus Smart. Glad to see his first chip, and just like D'Lo said, every role player should strive to be like Derek White. Joe Mazzulla solidifies himself as one of the best coaches in the league. He also has one of the best starts to a coaching career ever. Being one game away from the finals in his first year to winning it all in his second year, being the youngest coach to ever do it is incredible. Considering he is only 35, he could go down as one of the best coaches of all time. This could be the start of a legendary coaching career as the Celtics seem to be locked in for the next few years to potentially start a dynasty. With all his ball movement, his ability to mesh all this talent effortlessly on the court, and his adjustments series by series, it's only proof to him being a great coach. On top of that, he's a pretty funny guy. Good for Mazzulla. Danny Ainge had laid down the framework and foundation of this team with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Al Horford. Throughout his tenure with all his roster construction, trades, and hoarding draft picks, it was never enough to make the finals or win anything. However, Brad Stevens was able to build upon his foundation and form one of the best teams of all time. His ability to fleece teams for Jrue Holiday, Porzingis, and Derek White speaks for himself. He arguably formed one of the best teams of all time when it comes to fit and talent on the court. Brad Stevens will definitely be a Celtics legend considering his coaching tenure, and Danny Ainge should be acknowledged as well. Going from one of the best GMs ever to Brad Stevens building one of the best rosters of all time, the Celtics executives have set the team up for long-term success. To end this video, I want to congratulate the Celtics for winning the NBA championship as an NBA fan and as a Laker fan. Throughout this video, I've been giving them all the praise and have been unbiased. However, just remember the last time the Celtics won the championship, the Lakers won back-to-back. In 2026, the Lakers will lead 19-18. Just warning you guys now. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and leave a like.